Everybody, I'm here at David Crockett Birthplace State Park in Limestone, Tennessee, and we're gonna try here a live stream. And this is a complete test, right? So I've never used my phone for a live stream. I haven't used this app for a live stream. I haven't done it from this location, and I'm doing it without any help. Hopefully, I've got some guys back at the shop that can be in on the chat stream. Let me see if I can see that. Let's see if I can make that visible. Maybe not. There we go. Hi. I see a few chats coming up on the screen. Hey guys, behind me, you can see the barn that we're working on this weekend. And, well, we had to stop because it's raining. And as you can see, it's raining right behind me. Hopefully, the little awning that I'm under here won't drip on the phone and kill it. So that ought to be a lot of fun to see. Anyway, the roof is on. Well, let me move over just a little bit. So you can see it from the tree. So the roof, yes, nutmeg, I see you there. The roof is partially on this side. Maybe about a quarter of the roof is on this side, and about a third is on the other side. We've got about, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 8 people working on it today. There'll probably be some more folks coming in tomorrow to help work on this, and it's a lot. They're doing a lot of work. I'm just out here with cameras, so I'm not doing the hard work. How's the audio sounding on your side? I'll let you guys answer that up. Hey, and if Ryan or Ann or anybody's out on the stream, give me something in the chat window so I can see you. And maybe I wouldn't show up. So there you go. So I don't have any kind of set content other than standing in the rain here. If you guys got any questions, pop it into the chat. If I'm fortunate, I'll be able to see it as it kind of goes by real quick. And oh, good. That sounds great. Good. Glad to hear that. Hello from Australia. Audio is great. I'm glad that you can hear it because I wasn't sure with all the rain and the pitter patter exactly, what it was going to sound like. Oh, I should be underneath that roof just to see how bad the leaks are. There we go. Any teasers for new content? Hey, I'm on my cell phone. You're lucky I've got a live stream going on here. In fact, it's late because I couldn't get my phone to do what it was supposed to do. So, the roof on this one is really interesting. This one's going to be partially a bark roof on this one, a tulip bark roof. And back in Indiana, we're also working on some log structure videos, and we're going to be using the same thing, some bark for the roof. And bark has been a real interesting kind of material to work with. Movement doesn't help the connection. Yeah, so unfortunately I don't have a tripod, so you should sit down. I can't sit down, guys. I'd sit down if I could. Yeah, tulip bark roof. About this time of year, maybe for the next 5 or 6 weeks, depending on where you're at. Tulip bark is pretty easy to strip off of the logs, and you can kind of stretch it out, use it for a lot of different things. Earlier in that, the videos with coal cracker, we made cordage with it, but it also works really well as roofing material. So, Old Salem. Yeah, I'd like to head back down to Old Salem. Lots of stuff coming up. Joinery as a 1850s log cabin. Houses out of stone. Houses out of stone. Let me move over here to where I can use a thing for a prop. Houses out of stone sound like a lot of work. How long does the roof hold up? I don't know exactly how long a roof like this is going to last. I would imagine that it's fairly short-lived. And I was talking to Jim Wilson earlier, and he's kind of heading up this project. A roof like this probably wasn't even nailed on. It was just sort of weighted down, and it's likely that they would have to come back and repair this roof constantly. So every 3 or 4 weeks, you have to get back up on the roof and put the shakes back where, or the shingles back where they belong, and then it would stop leaking maybe really bad again. But the bark roofs were never known for being very weatherproof. There we go. So hopefully I can hold it a little bit more steady. I'll stand out here in the rain a little bit for you. Yeah, people are talking about this particular site, and this is the David Crockett Birthplace State Historic Site here in Limestone, Tennessee. And this site, having living history things going on here and having buildings, is fairly new. This site's been around since about, I think, 1973 or so, and it at times was thought to be the Crockett cabin. It's a much later 19th century cabin, so it's definitely not that. So they thought they would come in here and make a living history site. So they've got a cabin that was built last year that's very like a primitive cabin from the time period that David Crockett would have been here. And this project behind here is a 2-pen cabin. Whew. So I don't see any of the guys from Pearston live stream, but I might not be able to see them because of the chat window, and that I personally wouldn't show up in it. How would the Amish think of you? You know, somebody asked about Amish and living history, and up in our area there's a good population of Amish folk, and there's one of the sort of historic events that goes on right in their area, and they really enjoy coming out to the events, and some of them even participate. So somehow I don't think you're going to find very many Amish people in the chat, but who knows? Boy, I wish I could make my my phone less wiggly. Let's see, what else? Well, what type of wood did they use? So this building behind me, both the bark, as I mentioned before, is tulip. Everything on this guy is pretty much tulip. The logs are tulip, tulip poplar trees, and tulip poplar is the softest of the hardwoods. Super easy to work with. This wood is probably, well, it was a very, very popular wood to use in the time period because it was lightweight, it was easy to cut down, it grew very rapidly, and it was still pretty good for longevity, and it had a lot of different kinds of uses. So the bark was useful. Unlike, say, you cut down an oak tree, you try to make a cabin out of oak, you're going to be pounding away with your axe for a long time trying to get that thing cut into anything, and it doesn't have decent bark. The wood might last a long time, but it's very, very difficult to work with. Chestnut, yeah, would have been a good one to work with. Now, someone asked whether the logs were seasoned. Boy, my hand is kind of getting cramped now. These were pretty green on this. Boy, that isn't going to work. It's like busting my hand off. This was pretty green to work with. In fact, the greener the wood, the easier it is to work. So this was put up, and it kind of let this settle for 4 or 5 weeks. And generally you'd probably let this settle even more before, if it was, say, like a cabin, before you chinked it. Ouch. Sorry, guys. Let me try hand holding it with a different hand. To be able to work with this, as you kind of build it and then you let it season, and then you would chink it later on because everything is changing, it's shrinking up, etc. Boy, let me tell you though, you really want to, if you've got access to poplar, that's what you want to use if you can get away with it, because it's really, really nice wood to work with. So all my chat just disappeared. Sorry about covering you up there, guys. How did they deal with allergies back then? I don't think they had nearly as many problems with allergy in the time period as we do, and I don't know why. Just the same way we seem to have a lot of sort of modern illnesses that have popped up and are, it seems to be I don't know, an epidemic of other kinds of issues. I don't think they had as many problems with allergies, and maybe they didn't even know what they were, and they would just not complain about it. So there you go. I think it's because we sterilize everything. I think that's very true, and some of the scientific studies kind of back that up, if we can trust them. Video ideas, did people shave? Yeah, boy. There's a lot of, how did they make the wood look aged? Well, they didn't do anything to make this look aged. When you peel it, it's very nice and bright and yellow, and then it ages up really rapidly. It doesn't take very long at all for it to oxidize and get your nice brown color, and you get a little bit of mold, mildew, etc. that kind of settles the color and makes it look really nice. And it'll look, well, I might swing the camera around here. Let me, you're probably all going to complain, like want to throw up. But I'm going to move the camera around so we can see the cabin here in the background. So there you go, kind of in the background there. The little cabin is a nice dark brown color. That one's only, again, about 12 or 15 months old or so. And it's really aged up and looks beautiful already. I'm gonna go back to my spot because it's the only good way to hold the camera. Yeah, I'm making my own sound effects. I'm like that. I just make sound effects just like in my, kind of automatically. Where is this? Limestone, Tennessee. Which is very eastern part of Limestone, Tennessee, Jonesboro. I don't know exactly, but Limestone's very eastern. In fact, we're not very far from Asheville, North Carolina. Did people brush their teeth in the 18th century? Yes, they did. In fact, if you look on, let's say, Monticello's website or in their museum, they have a bone-handled toothbrush that they found in one of the privies down. So somebody was brushing their teeth, dropped it down, and then they didn't want to get it back. So yeah, brush their teeth, quite certainly. From Virginia, great. But I've seen a lot of people pop in from lots of hot and humid. Yeah, it's been a lot hotter. Actually, right now, right after the rain here, the weather's broke. The temperature is really actually quite nice. It's supposed to be very nice tomorrow. Highs in the lower 80s and highs in the lower 80s and sunny. So it ought to be a real good day for shooting. Denmark, hello. Yeah, raining in North Carolina. Well, it was raining here. Luckily, I can stand in the sun now. How long did Davy Crockett live here? I don't think his parents were here. He was here that long. I think possibly 10 years or so, and not very long at all. Oh, you guys are having fun in the chat. Yeah, park vehicle. Primitive technology. I've only watched a few of his videos. I always see them come up in my feed. They look very, very interesting. I only wish I had enough time to watch a lot of YouTube, but I don't. Hitchcock just did a flintlock video. They had a lot of great swear words in the 18th century. Yeah, archaeological latrines and trash piles. One of the best places to get. I mean, they're treasure troves. And can you imagine what it's going to be like in the 25th century when they come and they dig up our landfills? They're going to find, working stuff and hot dogs that you could still eat. I mean, it'll be incredible. How did you get involved in this barn raising? Yeah, I was invited. We were invited to come and shoot by Jim Wilson and by Mike Long and by a bunch of the guys here. And of course, Jackie, who runs the site, was real interested in, so everybody's been very hospitable. So it's been a great event to come down and participate, interact with all these guys and see them do all their work. And it's been a real great learning experience because I've read a lot about log cabins, but until you start making them, well, that's when you really learn. Did people have the same stature as today? That's a controversial, and a lot of people want to say that the average height of a person in the 18th century was, well, they're people of both opinions, that people were much shorter in the 18th century, and that other people say that's a myth, and that people were the same height as they are today. And personally, I believe that they were shorter, only because well, we're breeding giants today. I think people are bigger today than they were 20, 30 years ago. So Oh, message deleted by Townsends. Thank you very much. I must have some guys back at the shop working in the chat. So thank you so much, guys. Quail and bear cooking. Yes, Paul. In fact, we might get lucky. I might get lucky, and they were thinking about well, we've got some stuff planned for later on with various different kinds of animals that might show up in cooking episodes. So look at the size of the beds. They were very short. So yeah, so there were short beds. The buildings were short. Did they just build short buildings because you know, they were being cheap? I don't know. Never give. Bone marrow pie. I don't know if you can get. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can get a good source of bone marrow. Have to keep cultivating my butcher shop connections on that. Not enough milk in their diet? Possibly. Depends. When I think of milk in your diet, I think you know, what kind of hormones do they have in their milk and all that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe that's why everybody in the 21st century is so big. 2 feet of the floor had to be for a 6 foot tall man to stand up. So there you go. Yep. Local co-op would be a great source of supply for interesting things. There we go. Well, guys, I don't know how much longer I can hold my camera up in this position without breaking my hand. And yes, I really, I was going to pack my tripod for my cell phone so I could do this live stream, but I forgot it because my car is chock full of equipment and I could only just remember so many things. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you guys. I want to thank everyone that popped in on this live stream. It was kind of impromptu, and typically I had to fight the technology, but I know everyone loves it when they pop in. So yeah, if I could have, you know, tie my cell phone to this thing, it'd make it a lot easier. But hey, thank you guys for all your great support. I'm glad you're able to pop in and see this live stream, and it's been a lot of fun here working with the folks at Limestone here this weekend. And I want to thank everyone for all your amazing support, your great support, your sharing our videos, all the things in super chat. So thank you guys so much. Make sure to have something with a little bit of nutmeg in it this weekend so that you can remember the 18th century. Thank you guys so much for all you do, and thanks for watching.